Greetings, all you hunters out there. This is Duuz-Diz-Din back with another episode review of Rwby, this time with Season 6, Episode 7, titled The Grim Reaper. This one opens up with Cinderfall and Neo, continuing their discussion from before where, they're coming to an agreement of sorts that while Cinder has been ordered directly by Salem not to kill Rwby, Neo has received no such orders, so she's free to take the revenge that she is looking for the death of Roman Torchwick. Now, this fact plays a big role in this episode as a whole because of something we find out later. Now, all pretenses aside, we go into a flashback of Maria Calavera, and this is one when she was the huntress known as the Grim Reaper, who we find out is very legendary in the hunter community. She's hunting this gigantic Raven Grimm. I think it's very similar to the one we saw the Team Rwby take down during, I think it was the end of Season 1. So, the fact that she's going at this thing single-handedly is impressive enough. And even more impressive is her weapon as well, which has this kind of magnetic attraction. She wields these two dual scythes, and she presses a button on one of them and it attracts to the other, so she can stab into the Grimm and pull herself towards it, and all these cool, really awesome stuff. It's the level of ingenuity that we see with the weapons in Rwby never ceases to be amazing. And I'm glad that even after Monty was gone, we still saw a lot of interesting and out there weapon designs that are just so unique. You could see any main character in any series just having something like this and you'd be blown away. So she manages to fall this giant creature, only for it to, get back up and continue to go on the attack. And she pulls out her trump card, her silver eyes, and we see the same kind of petrification that we saw Rwby do to the giant Grim Dragon during the fall of Beacon. So that, this is just a standard ability for all Silver-Eyed users, and I'm glad we're getting this information because, the lack of information that we were getting was kind of driving me crazy for the most part. This is just me personally. It wasn't that I hated the idea of the Silver Eyes, it's just that, we got so much more information on Yang before we even had anything on the Silver Eyes, and they just kept popping up and doing these cool things without ever really getting that explanation that I was waiting for, and I'm glad we're at least getting it now. But we also see something very interesting, and that's that we have this gang of bounty hunters or assassins come in to basically take down Maria, and they're led by this person, Talk, who's very reminiscent of a crocodile, because she has these teeth and the scales, and she wields these cutlasses, and she even has this alarm clock that, I guess activates her semblance or something, where it gives her increased protection for, I think it was 30 minutes to a minute, 30 seconds to a minute. And so she's been hired to come in and take down Maria. Now, my guess is the fact that it has to be Salem who requested the assassination of Maria, because Salem's the only one who benefits from taking out someone hunting Grimm. But the fact that Salem wants Rwby captured alive kind of contradicts this. So there must be something very special about Rwby in particular, rather than all the other Silver-Eyed users who might have been out there in the world. We really don't know. But the fight scene between Maria and these would-be assassins is really cool and intense. You get to see her do so many cool things with her weapon, and Talk is no slouch either, as her dual cutlasses are pretty badass, and we even get this really intense and kind of messed up scene where Talk just slices out Maria's eyes right then and there. And that scene in combination with Maria's screams of agony, made the scene all the more brutal. My goodness, this was just a very brutal scene. There's no two ways about it. But we see Talk deactivate her protection, basically lets her guard down because, Maria's blind now, so she doesn't think she'd be able to do anything. And she spills the beans, gives a kind of villainous monologue where she's just like, I got hired to kill ya, but if you beg, maybe I'll spare your life. And naturally, Maria doesn't beg, and at the last second manages to kill Talk. But we also find out later, during Maria's story, that after that she went into hiding. She got her eyes fixed, but, she was just afraid of anyone else coming after her. And Crow, for the most part, starts kind of fanboying because, he modeled his weapon after, the Grim Reaper. He, tried to be as good as the Grim Reaper. She was a legend to the hunter community before she disappeared. And he just, is completely flabbergasted by this. The fact that he's sitting in the presence of a living legend. But Maria, unfortunately, doesn't quite see it this way. She believes that, she was a failure. She wasn't able to do what needed to be done, seal the deal, fully protect people up until the very end, which is a hunter's duty, to protect mankind no matter what. And she ended up just trying to save her own hide in the end. But Rwby ultimately requests that maybe Maria can help the next generation by teaching her how to properly use the Silver Eyes, how to better her abilities and her understanding to use it for the greater good and the whole of humanity. But aside from that, we also see that Rwby gets a call from Jean of all people, and she's perplexed where this could be coming from, as they feel that they're out in the middle of nowhere, only for them to find that, Jean is contacting them from a nearby city just over the hill. This is the port town that they had been trying to get to in order to get a ship to Atlas. And as they enter the city, they end up meeting up with Jean and everyone else. Everyone's so happy and grateful to see each other. However, it quickly becomes clear that Jean, Nora, and Ren have learned something that they don't quite let on until the very last second. Kind of leave you inquiring as to what the problem here is. We also had this great sweet moment between Jean and Rwby, which is very much worth noting because it shows the deep bond that these two have had and have grown to have over time. But as they explore the city, they talk about this is a major mecca of civilization. It's grown outside of a capital, which is very much unheard of really in this world. Usually without the need for an abundance of hunters, they've gotten a good amount of protection from the military, so they've been able to settle in fairly peacefully. We also see Jean, Ren, and Nora have been staying with his older sister Saffron and her wife Terracotta and their child, which is a nice little thing to have in there. But We find out some nice little teasing between Jean and his big sister, how they were the two who ended up just getting out of the family as soon as possible, while the girls fawn over a little baby Kata, who is just completely cute. They animate the little baby so sweetly, and he's doing all these playful things in the background. That attention to detail is always welcome. But I also love this image of Jean and his siblings, where it feels very reminiscent of the Loud House, although there's more males in this situation. But the fact that John was one of the youngest of all these children, who are obviously very rowdy and got on his nerves from time to time, so he was all too happy to get out as soon as he could. We also learned that Terracotta is in charge of the communications tower in this city, in this port town. However, it's gone down for reasons that Terracotta is unable to figure out, and she's being blamed for it by the populace and the military, which she's having no end of stress dealing with. We also come to find out that the other thing going on here is the fact that the military has denied, Jean and then Team Rwby access to a ship to get them to Atlas. So that'll become the sticking point for the next episode. But as a whole, this episode felt very short, but at the same time it had a lot of information on top of that. The new alliance going on between Neo and Cinder, how they're going to be journeying together in order to basically come in and kill Rwby. Jean and his relationship with his sister, how, he's teased to no end. Maria Calavera and her backstory, and it brings up the question: how many more silver-eyed people are out there? Why are they able to do what they can do? Was Ozpin the one to bestow this power on them at some point? I feel that I don't think we got confirmation about this, but I believe it was Ozpin who bestowed the magical powers towards the maidens. At least I think so. I don't know if we ever got confirmation on that, but why do these people have this kind of a power? It's very useful being able to just wipe out Grimm like this, but it raises a lot of questions. And not to mention, was Summer Rose, Ruby's mother, able to do stuff like that? Is this why she was gone? Does that make this a mystery in the making from the very beginning, with Salem actually being the one to kill, or at least send people to kill Ruby's mother? And why has Rwby not encountered anyone who has come to kill her yet? How has she managed to stay so safe up until now? And then again, we know that she's fairly competent in a fight, so, there's the answer right there. But also this city, I feel that we'll probably end up staying here for a while, get a feel for it, because, you don't want to waste a good, perfectly modeled city. You're going to stick around in it at least for a couple of episodes. But, what do you think the problem here is at the military base, that they're denying Team Rwby access? Where do you think it's go? How long do you think we'll stay in this city? And, how many more hardships await Team Rwby on their continued journey to Atlas? But hey, tell me your thoughts in the comments section below. Did you enjoy this episode? Did you not? Did you enjoy my review? If you did, leave me a like, and if you didn't, feel free to leave me a dislike. I was kind of all over. This is actually my second attempt recording this, so it's not as good as the first one in places. But, tell me what I'm probably doing wrong, so maybe I can improve for the future and make better videos for anyone who wants to come in and watch them. But until then, I will see you in the next episode of review of Rwby. So feel free to subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.